50th RRC community in Michigan, one of the only RRC communities at the time in Northeast Michigan, where most of the communities are small and don't have a lot of staff. And the process of getting there is rewarding. It definitely makes you fully cognizant of all your planning documents and how they work together. And then again, having the benefit of the added MEDC help and assistance, whether it's funding or just people with expertise helping you, is tremendous, especially for, again, a small community that just can't afford to have that type of staff on the payroll.
Some of the benefit that the Redevelopment Services team brings is just added capacity for the community to try and help with some of that visioning a lot of times as to what an asset could actually look like when it's complete. But also it can bring a little bit of help to a business owner in securing outside incentives, albeit from MEDC, from MSHDA, from the federal government, from EGLE, you name it. We try to help make projects be in a position to, number one, be very competitive for all of those resources, and number two, try to make them appeal with not only the ideals of Lansing and what we're targeting at the time, but align specifically with what the goals are of the local municipality. And so everything that we try and do in terms of leveraging resources from outside of the area go towards alignment with those master planning documents and what the community sees itself as. So we really try to help take someone who has some enthusiasm, someone that has some buy-in with the community, and help them take the next step toward actually putting together a development proposal that aligns with their financial goals or needs and the community's desires and wants.
The biggest thing to me about being both an RRC community and the Michigan Main Street community is that it forces us to and proves that we have a plan. Having a strong comprehensive plan, having a strong promotional plan, and economic development plan means that as you're faced with decisions that maybe aren't always easy decisions, that all of those decisions are going in a common direction, that we're not doing one thing that doesn't make sense with something else that we're doing the next day. And really, to me, it's all about just having the entire team rowing the canoe in the same direction at the same time versus doing things that don't make sense and the canoe spinning around. And so becoming RRC meant going through all of our planning documents to make sure that A, they were up to date, B, that they were consistent with one another, and C, that they put forth the vision that we actually had and were something that we were going to follow. And that happened before we became Michigan Main Street. And then that just kicked it into overdrive with, again, all of the things that we knew we had to do with the downtown. And literally without the work that went into the planning and then without the Main Street program, I think we're still spinning our wheels where we were. The value of the housing has increased. It's become a much more desirable location. When places become available, whether they're commercial or residential, they're gone like that. We are the most affordable lakefront community in the country. I mean, Realtor.com, this is not a little fly-by-night organization. People see that, and those things bring people in. Our apple orchard just out of town, a few miles out of town, ranked one of the 5 best in the United States. All of those things are just tremendous for us. And none of those things happen by accident. That's a coordinated effort to get that to where it is. And there's more work to do, but there's just no question to me that we're trending in the upward direction.
So I think having a community both be RRC certified as well as a Main Street community is number one, very unique. And something that is I think a lot of kudos goes out to those that help put that in play. RRC is basically the foundation. It's getting the house in order. It's getting the private sector to understand that the community themselves is willing to take on new growth and has a very transparent and straightforward way of doing business. You're not going to come in and be blindsided by rules and regulations that you weren't aware of. The Main Street program is more of a capacity building element to where we have events, we have different small business initiatives, different ways that you can kind of raise capacity for a community from a volunteer aspect, as well as a way to kind of commingle, if you will, the social sector with the public sector. On the pre-development side of work, and now in my new role with the Redevelopment Services team, we come in on the front end of a project before there is even conception of what could go there. So when we sit down with either public figures or private figures in the community, it's really trying to paint a picture for them as to what an asset could be, whether it's a vacant piece of property or an existing standing structure. When I think about the future of Rogers City, I see an anticipated larger scale of a project coming online and frankly being more financially feasible. 5 to 10 years ago, I would have never been able to admit that or even boast about that. But I believe that the city has done enough locally, I think, to gain momentum and gain support, as well as working with the volunteer crew with the Main Street objective and that whole effort in terms of raising awareness of what's going on, creating more buzz, creating more events, drawing more people into the community. I think all of the social indicators are there that show Rogers City's in a position to be able to take the next step and advance. Overall, I think the future here for Rogers City is bright. I think that them putting themselves in a position to win over the course of the last 10 plus years has positioned them well for where they're going to go in the next 5 to 10 years as well.
I think the future is bright for Rogers City, but there's so much more we can do into ways that'll benefit folks that live here, folks that maybe would think about coming here, visitors that we want to return. I really think the sky is the limit, and there's some exciting, truly exciting things that are being discussed as we talk about growing the business district, also improving the public assets we have to truly take advantage of them. And I think over these next few years, it's just really going to be an exciting time.